Melody Sherry is finally stepping into a position where she can speak freely, and this time it feels very different from anything we have seen before. For a long time, viewers have had questions about what really happened behind the scenes on Love and Marriage Huntsville. There have always been moments that did not fully add up, situations that felt one-sided, and conflicts that seemed deeper than what was shown on screen. Now, with Melody preparing to sit down with a former producer, it feels like those unanswered questions might finally get real answers. This situation has been building for a long time. It did not start suddenly. Over the years, people have noticed a gap between what was shown on television and what was being hinted at off camera. Social media posts, interviews, and subtle comments all suggested that there was more going on than what viewers were allowed to see. But until now, everything stayed in the space of guessing. People had opinions, but no clear confirmation. What makes this moment so important is the involvement of a former producer. This is not just someone sharing personal feelings. This is someone who understands how the show was made. A producer sees everything. They are involved in decisions about what gets filmed, what gets cut, and how the story is shaped. So when a producer chooses to speak alongside a cast member, it adds a new level of credibility to the conversation. Melody is no longer in the same situation she was in before. When she was actively filming, she had to deal with many pressures. There were expectations from production, reactions from viewers, and personal challenges happening at the same time. In that kind of environment, it is not easy to speak openly. Every word can be edited. Every action can be turned into part of a storyline. Now, things are different. She has more control over her voice. She has built her own path outside of the show. And most importantly, she has distance. Distance changes perspective. When someone steps away from a situation, they can see it more clearly. They can connect the dots in a way that was not possible before. Fans have been waiting for this kind of moment. For years, people have been asking the same questions. Were certain cast members treated unfairly? Were some people given better edits than others? Were conflicts real or were they pushed to create drama? These questions have never fully gone away. Reality television always walks a thin line. It is supposed to show real life, but it is also designed to entertain. That means stories are shaped in a way that keeps people watching. Conflict is highlighted, tension is increased, emotions are made more intense. But sometimes, in the process of creating a strong story, the full truth gets lost. Many viewers felt that there was an imbalance in how situations were presented. It often looked like one person had to defend themselves against multiple people. Whether that was intentional or not, it created a certain image. And once that image is formed, it becomes hard to change. Melody's decision to speak out now suggests that she wants to take control of her own story. Instead of being part of a narrative created by others, she is ready to share her own version. That is a powerful move. It changes the dynamic completely. The role of production is also a big part of this conversation. Producers are responsible for shaping what viewers see. They choose which scenes make it into the final episode. They decide how stories are connected, and they often guide conversations to bring out certain reactions. This does not always mean something negative is happening. Sometimes it is just part of making a show interesting. But there is a point where storytelling can start to feel unfair. If someone's story is not being shown completely, it can create a false impression. This is why having a former producer involved is so important. They can explain how decisions were made. They can give insight into why certain moments were shown and others were not. And they can help viewers understand the bigger picture. There have also been hints about a difficult environment behind the scenes. While nothing has been fully confirmed, the idea has been mentioned enough times that people are starting to take it seriously. A stressful environment can affect how people behave. It can increase tension. It can make conflicts worse. At the same time, it is important to stay balanced. Not every negative moment means something was done wrong. Reality television brings together strong personalities. Disagreements are expected. Emotions can run high. But that does not mean every situation is unfair. What matters is understanding the full context, and that is what this upcoming conversation might provide. It has the potential to fill in the gaps, to explain things that were not clear before, to give a deeper understanding of what really happened. Another important part of this situation is how viewers react. Some people are already supporting Melody. They feel like this is her chance to finally be heard. Others are more cautious. They want to wait and see what is actually said before forming an opinion. Both reactions are normal. When new information comes out, people respond in different ways. Some trust quickly, others question everything. But what matters is being open to listening. This moment also connects to a bigger issue in reality television. Audiences are becoming more aware. They are not just watching for entertainment anymore. They are analyzing, they are questioning. They want to know what is real and what is not. That shift is important. It pushes the industry to be more transparent. It encourages producers to think carefully about how stories are told, and it gives cast members more power to share their own experiences. Melody's move reflects this change. She is not just reacting to what happened, she is taking control. She is choosing when and how to speak, and she is doing it in a way that could have a lasting impact. The idea of truth is also central to this situation, not just one version of truth, but a fuller picture. In complex situations, there is rarely only one side. There are multiple perspectives, different experiences, different interpretations. What people are hoping for is a clearer understanding, not just more drama, but real insight. They want to know what was happening behind the scenes. They want to understand why certain things unfolded the way they did. There is also the question of timing. Why now? Why speak out at this moment? Timing can change how a message is received. Speaking too early can feel reactive. Speaking later can feel more thoughtful. In this case, the timing suggests that Melody has had time to reflect, time to process, time to decide what she wants to share and how she wants to share it. That can make a big difference in how the message comes across. The involvement of a former producer also adds another layer. It shows that this is not just a personal story. It is also about how the show was created, how decisions were made, and how those decisions affected the people involved. As this situation continues to develop, one thing is clear. The conversation is changing. It is moving from speculation to something more direct, from guessing to explaining. Viewers are paying close attention. They are waiting to see what will be revealed, and they are ready to rethink what they thought they knew. This moment feels like a turning point, not just for Melody, but for the show as a whole. It has the potential to change how people see everything that came before. If new details come out, it could reshape the narrative. It could confirm some beliefs and challenge others. It could bring clarity or create even more questions. But either way, it will have an impact, because once new information is shared, it cannot be ignored. It becomes part of the story. The relationship between cast members, the role of production, and the way stories are told are all part of a bigger picture. And this moment is shining a light on that picture in a new way. As people continue to watch and discuss, the focus will remain on one main question. What really happened behind the scenes? And as that question starts to be answered, the story of Love and Marriage Huntsville may never look the same again. As this situation continues to unfold, the focus begins to shift even deeper into the idea of control. Who really controls the story that the audience sees? For a long time, it has always been assumed that what is shown on screen is a reflection of reality. But now, that assumption is being questioned more than ever. When Melody steps forward with her perspective, and especially with a former producer beside her, it challenges that belief directly. Control of narrative is one of the most powerful elements in reality television. The way a scene is edited, the order in which events are shown, and even the music used in the background can completely change how a moment feels. A calm conversation can be made to look tense. A small disagreement can be turned into a major conflict. And when viewers only see that final version, it becomes their truth. This is where Melody's voice becomes so important. She's not just sharing memories, she's potentially explaining how those moments were shaped. She is offering insight into what the audience did not see. And when that happens, it can completely change how people understand past situations. For example, there may have been moments where Melody felt overwhelmed or unsupported, but those moments may not have been shown in full. Instead, viewers may have only seen her reactions without understanding what led up to them. That can create a very different image of a person. It can make someone appear more aggressive, more emotional, or more isolated than they actually were. At the same time, there may have been moments where other cast members were shown in a more positive light. This does not always mean favoritism, but it does raise questions about balance. If one person's full story is not being told, while another person's story is highlighted in a certain way, it can shape how the audience feels about both individuals. This is why so many viewers have been questioning the fairness of the show. It is not just about who is right or wrong in a specific argument. It is about how those arguments are presented. It is about whether everyone is given an equal chance to be understood.